Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nawan Nairufashah. In here, I want to tell you about narrative text. What is the narrative text? Narrative text is the text which contains a story has a chronology of events that are interconnected. The generic structure are orientation, complication, and resolution. And the example of the narrative text is fable, mythos, and the legend. Okay, I want to tell about one of the legend from Gresik. The title is Nyai, Ageng, Tumengkang, Sari. The first is orientation. Like the story about Roro Jonggrang and Bandung Bondowoso, there is a similar story that happened in Gresik, especially in Sumur Songo village, which is now Sido Kumpul village. And this story is further strengthened by the story of the administrator of the Sumur Songo cemetery, Mbah Amin, who is already 65 years old, who has long devoted himself to protecting this tomb. The difference is only very slight, namely the form of the request given by the woman to the suitor. If Roro Jonggrang asked Bandung Bondowoso to build 1,000 temples overnight, the story from Gresik is none other than the story of Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari, who asked a prince of the Majapahit kingdom to make 10 wells. Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari is a very beautiful who is the daughter of Sunan Boju, who is none other than the son of Sunan Giri. Not much different from the story of Roro Jonggrang, Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari want to be married with handsome prince from the Majapahit kingdom, who was always famous for his magic, who was visiting the kingdom of Giri. A handsome face possessed supernatural powers, but unfortunately, the prince is a different religion from Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari. His heart was turbulent. How could he accept someone with a different belief? He is the grandson of a Sunan who spread the teaching of Islam in Java, while the prince came from the Hindu Majapahit kingdom. Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari want to immediately reject it, but he talked long enough. If she immediately reject the prince, bloodshed will occur, because it is certain that the prince feels embarrassed and does not accept that Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari has rejected him. The next structure is complication. Because he still hasn't found the right reason, finally Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari decided to go down the mountain, leave the kingdom of Giri, and hide in one of the hamlets which is now in the area of Panglima Sudirman Street. In hiding, he was accompanied by his guardian named Mbah Susilowati and Mbah Singo as his personal bodyguard. By relying on his expertise, he also helped many local residents who want to give birth. In this hiding place, a part of being accompanied by his career and personal bodyguard, he was also assisted by Mbah Brojol, who helped prepare suits of leave for people who has given birth. The recipe that has been given by Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari is then found in a lumpang, which is usually used to refine herbal medicine. Hearing that Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari fled from the Giri kingdom, the prince finally found out where the beautiful princess he was wont to marry. By mobilizing his troops and relying on his powers, finally the prince was able to find Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari hiding place and ask again about his delayed marriage. Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari also wrecked his prince, looking for a way he could refuse the marriage. At first glance, what was in his mind at that time was to provide conditions that the prince could not fulfill. So she also said, "I want to be your wife, but with a terms," said Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari. Feeling high in supernatural powers, the prince of the Majapahit kingdom also answered, "What terms that Nyai asked for, I will bid it." Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari also answered the requirement. "If tonight you must be able to make me 10 wells, I will accept your marriage." With full confidence, the prince of the Majapahit kingdom agreed to the requirement put forward by Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari. Meanwhile, Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari was so nervous and tried to find a way to thwart the prince's marriage. Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari then prayed for guidance and help from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. After completing 10 wells according to the request of Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari, the prince also saw the result of his work and intended to collect his promise from Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari to become his wife. Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari finally met the prince and saw the well he had made. Then he sat on one of the wells. After that, he counted the exciting well without counting the wells he sat on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How come only 9 wells? Less than 1 well, sighed Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari. The prince did not believe it and tried to count the wells he had made. The prince did not count the one well that was occupied by Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari. Until in the end the prince gave up and admitted his defeat. Because of his failure in marriage, Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari, the prince was angry and gave a curse. A girl in this village should not refuse a marriage from a young man. If there is a girl who refuses a young marriage, I feel this will be an old maid for life. And the last chapter is resolution. After successfully thwarting the prince's marriage, Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari returned to his activities to help the residents who gave birth. But whether due to being sworn in by the pageant or by chance, he died at a young age and had not had time to get married until death picked him up. From this story, in the end the hamlet was called Dusun Sumur Songo. The local wisdom that develops in the hamlet is that the tomb of Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari has karomah, which can provide excitement or smoothness in the process of giving birth. The water from Songo well itself is believed to be able to cure all diseases. Usually, residents who come from Giri, Gresik, and Dusun Sumur Songo, if they are going to give birth, they bring coconut oil and then read a prayer asking Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for the birth process of their family members. While sending prayers to Nyai Ageng Tumengkang Sari, then the oil that is brought is exchanged to the character. After getting the new oil from the caretaker, the oil is rubbed on stomach of the member who is about to give birth, and it is believed that this can give arousal to the labor process. Thank you very much for your nice attention, and the last I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.